It's finally Friday, and this is Friday night's weather for Weather Geeks, the Valley's geekiest, most in-depth, most informative weather forecast online, on air, anywhere. All right, today was a very nice day. We melted a lot of our snow. The sun was trying to come through some of the high and mid-level clouds from time to time, and actually the official high today was 52, not 51, at the Youngstown Warren Airport, 59 in Pittsburgh, 53 in Cleveland, and look out in western Ohio, it was 62 in Toledo this afternoon, and 61 in Detroit. Now, western Ohio did have to deal with some pretty strong wind gusts earlier on. It's been breezy here, but they had wind gusts of 50 or more miles per hour earlier on today. So those were the local highs. Check out the national highs. 77 degrees in St. Louis this afternoon. It was pushing 70 over towards Cincinnati and Louisville. 80 degrees Dallas, 75 New Orleans. Really unusual warmth for February out here. And this is the air that's coming east during the course of the day tomorrow. Radar pretty quiet when I recorded this at 7:36 this evening. Couple of showers trying to reach the ground up in Michigan, but as this weak little boundary comes through tonight, nothing more than a sprinkle this evening into the overnight. That's about it. Just a pretty cloudy period for a while. But then the clouds clear out late tonight. But temperatures tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up in the lower 40s throughout the valley. So the snow is going to continue to melt overnight with these temperatures well above freezing. Now, our forecast high for tomorrow is 59. I'm considering for the 11 o'clock show tonight taking it up a couple. I don't think we can be high enough tomorrow, considering what happened upstream today with 70s and 60s as far east as Cincinnati. I think the models are probably going to be underdone again tomorrow. So I might bump it up a couple of degrees. We could touch 60 in a lot of places. Saturday afternoon, it's going to be a great day. I mean, the sun's going to be shining. It's going to be breezy at times, but boy, a real taste of spring for us. Too bad there's still going to be some snow on the ground, but a lot of it is going to go away by the end of the weekend. Now, Sunday's a cooler day. We may stay in the 30s in some spots, sneak into the 40s in others, and very, very remote chance of a touch of late-day rain south of Route 30, primarily with a system diving south of the Ohio River. We'll probably take that out of the forecast here before too much longer. All right, let's talk about the storm middle of next week. There's a lot that we still don't know. How many pieces of this storm there's going to be, what directions those pieces will go. There's a lot of discrepancies with the models, as is still pretty typical 4 or 5 days out. This is the map I adjusted today with the snow potential. Now, you might look at this and say, hey, Eric's calling for a lot of snow. No, I'm calling for it being likely that we'll see some snow. That doesn't mean a lot, but some. It seems likely to me that there will be some snow around, particularly Wednesday into Wednesday night. Does this mean a lot of snow, a little snow? Not sure of that yet. There's just too much we don't know. Our confidence is low in the storm track. The timing, low to medium low, and precipitation type could be an issue. We could have some rain for a time. It depends on where the low tracks. There might be more than one low pressure system. And of course snow amounts, not even considering any numbers at this point as far as any specifics with the snow amounts. But I will show you some of the modeling here. With this many question marks, I'm going to show you nothing but ensembles tonight. If you're new to this idea, ensembles, basically you take a parent model and you tweak the initial data that's in the model subtly many different times. So tweaks to the pressure, tweaks to the temperatures, everything that's baked into the model gets tweaked a number of times, and then they run it a number of times. And this accounts for the inevitable errors in trying to model the atmosphere, even initially. Even a model that's valid 1 hour from now is going to be wrong in many places. And so these ensembles try to catch the range of solutions. If you tweak the model a bunch of times and it still arrives at a similar solution, you have a high confidence forecast. If these little tweaks cause each run of that model, each member of the ensemble, to go in wildly different directions, then you've got a low confidence forecast. So here's the European ensemble. Each L that shows up here is one of the members of the European ensemble. It's showing it where it thinks the low is at this given time. So this is Wednesday at 1 p.m. You can see the lows are kind of clustered in this zone through here with some outliers here and there, but there's a pretty decent cluster around the southern Appalachians. Wednesday afternoon, by Wednesday evening, your tightest cluster is moving over into the Mid-Atlantic region. And then you're starting to see some decent agreement here that the European is suggesting a track over New York City by Thursday morning, suggesting a lot of rain and mixing for the coast and interior snows. across the Appalachian Mountains and perhaps even farther west. So that's the European as far as the track. Here's the parent run of the European. They call it the control run, but the 52 members of the European ensemble are all derived off this base model, the parent, if you will. It has a pretty decent snowstorm for us. We're talking, if you took this literally, a 6 to 10, 6 to 12 vent as far west as eastern Ohio. That's the control run, though, and of course when you have a lot of uncertainty and the model has a lot of different ideas, those tweaks can lead to wildly different scenarios, and look at the mean of all 52 members of the Euro. You've got a much lower amount because some members are saying hardly any snow, some members have a big snow, some are in between, and the mean ends up being more of a nuisance event for us across eastern Ohio and western PA, something on the order of a 2 to 4, maybe 3 to 5, something like that. Impactful, yes, but not as impactful as the storm we just had a few days ago. So, going to lean heavily on the ensembles with this much uncertainty this far out, and leaning on those ensembles leads me to believe that there will be some snow across our region. How much? Not sure yet. Based on the European model, here's the GFS ensemble. This box right here is what I want you to look at. It's the ensemble mean snowfall. That box looks sort of similar to the European mean. You've got a stripe, a maxima, if you will, across the central Appalachians, up into New England on the Euro. On the GFS, this box here, kind of something similar. A max here, and kind of a nuisance kind of a thing for eastern Ohio and western PA. That's the ensemble mean. When you look at probabilities based on the European ensemble, here's the probability of 1 or more inches of snowfall through Thursday morning. Pretty good odds in our region. You get into these orange colors and we're talking probably 60 to 80% chance of at least an inch based on the European ensemble, mean that is. And then same idea, this is more than 6 inches. So this is looking at the odds of a pretty big storm, kind of like what we just had. Those odds, of course, considerably lower. Certainly not zero, though. Based on the current run of the European ensemble, probably something like 15 to 30% of more than 6 inches. So it's on the table, we get a pretty big storm. It's on the table, we get a very little. It's on the table that it's kind of something in between, kind of a nuisance, kind of a pain in the butt, but nothing like we had a few days ago where every school was closed and it was a real big deal. So many details to be ironed out. All right, beyond the storm, pretty chilly period coming up for the end of February, start of March. This takes us from the 29th, the last day of the month, through the 10th of March. Chilly pattern advertised here on the climate model for the eastern U.S., the southern U.S., the warmth is out west. So high confidence there that February ends, March begins on a pretty chilly note. The rest of March maybe at or somewhat above average, but it's going to start out a little bit on the chilly side. Thanks for sticking with me on this long weather for Weather Geeks. 21 News coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Hope you'll join us then. If you're an early riser, I hope you'll join Andrew tomorrow morning on WFMJ Weekend Today. I'll check in from time to time on social media this weekend as I take a peek at some of the modeling. I can't not look at the weather even on the weekend. Just, that's me. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you Monday.